This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
Come please, Chandana.
Yes, ma'am.
Come.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Come. Good afternoon. Come, please sit down.
Thank you.
You are Chandana or you are Jahnavi?
Chandana Jahnavi is my full name, ma'am.
Both? Okay. It must be quite a headache when you have to write your name in some paper or anything like that. Huh? Such a long name. I used to curse, my name is long enough.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Chandana, you are working in you are the Indian Corporate Law Service.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Assistant Director. So you've been there for quite some time? No, for about a year now almost.
Yes,
huh?
ma'am. I'm in training.
Okay, Manishan. Very good. You're still doing your training?
Yes, ma'am.
And you belong to Bengaluru, right?
I belong to Hyderabad, ma'am. My
Place
maternal
of birth is Bengaluru?
my maternal family hails from Bengaluru. Paternal family is based out of Hyderabad.
From Hyderabad. Okay, very good. And you've done chemical engineering, huh? So tell me, what is the state of the basic chemical industry in India? What are the issues?
Ma'am, state of the basic affairs in chemical industry.
What are the issues that are in the basic chemical industry? And what is its implication for the pharma sector?
Ma'am, I would like to highlight certain things that are challenging with respect to chemical industries. One is with respect to how there is skewed numbers in chemical industry with respect to certain sectors, where the focus has been predominantly on pharmaceuticals or oil and gas. But the trend now is to move towards renewable energy, where that is where Indian chemical industry is still picking up, and also the startups. Second, with respect to the resources that are needed for chemical industry.
Elaborate more on this. The focus of the chemical industry being on renewables, tell us. What is being done in this? Which are the chemicals identified?
Ma'am, one is with respect to how to better the processes with respect to compost and so on by utilizing chemical engineering processes, like at a small level, how to make small scale composting machines and so on. Second is development of hydrogen cell powered equipment, how to utilize that. Third is with respect to biogas utilization. These are three things that are...
Okay, very good. You said that there's too much of a skewing towards the pharma industry. Huh? You mentioned that, no? One of the things that was wrong.
To certain industries, in the manner that there is one pharmaceutical, second is oil and gas. And
if I were to say that the basic chemical industry has failed the pharma sector, what would you say to that?
Ma'am, I would agree to a certain extent here, because pharmaceutical industry now depends on the API ingredients which are coming from outside. So this is where the basic chemical industry could have helped.
Do you know what happened? Outside means where is it coming from? Do you know the mix from where it's coming? And you know the policy challenges, strategic challenges for us in that?
Yes, ma'am. API majorly is coming from China. And this becomes a strategic challenge, considering the difficulty that we are facing.
Mm-hmm. So why are we so dependent? We are the pharmacy of the world. So why are we getting more and more dependent on China for our APIs?
Ma'am, to what I understand, the ingredients that are there, these have basically require cheaper ingredients to make these products of APIs, and this is where China had an early mover advantage and a cost competition advantage, which has put the local players at a problem. So for this context, we now have certain schemes that are going on. One is with respect to PLI incentives that are coming.
What does it say? What is the PLI incentive scheme?
The PLI incentive scheme with respect to APIs is to promote a bulk drug park where there is common plug-and-play infrastructure in place where a lot of companies can come together and...
Thank you. Please.
John, we are already in corporate law service. corporate law has some provisions about women director. How do you rate this success or failure of this women director scheme? Has it really contributed to inclusion of women power in corporate boardroom, or what's your assessment of that?
Sir, I'm of the opinion that women directors was a very important move with respect to inclusion and diversity in the boardroom. But that being said, of late we have seen that a lot of companies have not been able to comply with the same, which has been raised with the ministry, and the industry has come back listing certain problems with respect to this. One being that the women directors, they say that are not meeting the competency levels that they are expecting. Second is that that there is an inclusion of a woman director who is already related to somebody on the board. And third being that that companies need more time frame to include women based on the current scenario. These were the three issues that were highlighted.
The whole concept of independent directors, don't you think it's a highly flawed kind of a concept? What does it mean? So, for example, I'm promoter of the company and I'm going to hire an independent director, but ultimately hiring authority is me, right? Technically, he or she can be independent. But tell me your assessment whether the experiment of this independent directors has been successful, less successful, or what's your take on that?
Sir, I'm of the opinion that this was a very important step, and we are seeing that there are certain good success cases of having independent directors.
Tell me two success cases.
So, very specifically, some of these are still not in the public domain, so I am not going to be able to list them.
So,
but we've seen that some of these independent directors have come forward to raise concerns with the ministry, and which have later helped in inquiry and inspections.
They find that the problem arises, they submit the resignation and they go back. Well, how do you see this Adani and share market relationship? Adani, you think is in terms of corporate governance issue, or it's a risk analysis issue? How we try to fix that? What is the issue?
So, based on what we have seen right now, the Adani scenario is still a case that is still what is building up. The first thing was with respect...
not building up, they have cleared. The firm has said that they have done accounting fraud, they have done manipulation, and market has listened to that, and only after that the shares are down. So, it's not a building, it has been already there. Now, give assessment on this. Whether this is a corporate governance issue of Adani or judgment issue of business by Adani, how do you see this? Because last time we had this kind of problems, Reliance Power, right? Massive loans, and we found that again they were in trouble. So how you see it? Because you are insider as well as a student of management also.
So, I believe that we do not still have a very credible report to understand this, and something that has been substantiated. So, until we get such a committee report, I would want to refrain from making any specific comment on what are the lapses here.
What is this co-location issue of NSE?
So, the NSE has a server room which it allocates.
Do you see this as a corporate governance issue, or what exactly is how do you frame the issue? NSE story.
The NSE co-location highlighted multiple lapses at a company level, and this includes corporate governance issues also.
What exactly are the issues?
The exact issues was one with respect to how the management was functioning. Second is with respect to how board of directors have not objectively analyzed the situation and the performance of the company and just relied on what the management was providing them with respect to information. Third is with respect to how certain complaints that were already being raised with it were not taken into prerogative until SEBI had to involve and understand that there is some issue that is going on. And this has also had a lot of repercussions on a lot of investors.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, Jahnavi.
Yes.
You've taken sociology as your optional.
Yes, sir.
Any particular reason why you took sociology?
Yes, sir. So, during my management, we were involved with a rural immersion program in district of Ujjain, And that is where I saw a very specific incident that happened. So we were conducting survey on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and the construction of toilets at the ground level. And a question that popped up was, why were houses constructing their toilets very far from their home? And that question was very challenging for me to understand about why would somebody do that. And that is where the IAS officer of the district recommended me to understand the society first, to understand why that was happening. That was my motivation of taking sociology.
All right. Do you know what secularization of caste is?
So my understanding of the secularization of caste is that the caste which was earlier a very specific religious background today has come to dominate other spheres also, including economic, political, and so on. Its relevance.
All these spheres, or
across different spheres. The origin of it to what it is today is very distinct, and this is the secularization of caste.
anything in particular that you can give an example of? That anything that is very apparent in the society that portrays secularization of caste?
So one thing that I can think of is today we are seeing on caste lines that people would want certain level of reservation, be it in jobs and education and so on.
Okay, what is Dalit capitalism?
So the premise of the Dalit capitalism is that that majority of people who are running successful enterprises have come from the forward communities, and Dalits do not have adequate representation here. So in this context, a lot of sociological scholars and so on have recommended to create a DICCI similar to what we have, where major Dalits come forward and empower the other entrepreneurs.
Can you name
in the
a few
community.
government schemes that have been taken?
Yes, sir. So one is with respect to Startup India, where we are promoting Dalit entrepreneurs. And the second is with respect to Stand Up India also, where every bank has been given a target with respect to how they come to
Janvi,
work.
can you trace the evolution of women movement in India since independence?
Yes, sir. I would want to trace it in perspective of two. One is with respect to the issues that women have taken. From the start till the end, there is a gradual movement in the kind of issues. Earlier, also, a second parameter is about who were taking forward these movements. Earlier, we have seen certain important men coming forward, being taking the initiative, and now it is broad-based to including many other vulnerable
When
women.
exactly did this shift take place?
The shift of inclusive. So I believe that the shift of shift of women here happened with major women social reformers. I believe that we can talk about Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule ma'am, who were very important here.
Okay, do you think that we are in a position to undertake environmental movements on a similar line that the West does?
Sir, I'm of the opinion here that that there is CBDR for a reason, that there are differentiated responsibilities, that yes, climate is important, but India cannot do it at the level of West. So in this context, when everybody is talking about renewable energy, even as we focus towards renewable energy, our immediate focus, like West, can't be that we cannot close down our coal plants and so on.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Janvi.
So, Janvi, you have been awarded a K M Munshi School Founder Award.
Yes.
Who was Mr. K M Munshi?
Sir, K M Munshi ji was a freedom fighter, and he was somebody who was in the drafting committee of the Constitution. He was a lawyer and also a writer, and he also served in the capacity as a minister for agriculture. And
So, the date that is there in the preamble is 26 November, if I'm not wrong.
yes.
And we celebrate the Republic Day on 26 January. Why is it so? What is the importance of 26 January?
So 26 January holds a lot of historical importance because in the Lahore session of 1929, they've outlined the day of 26 January as Purna Swaraj Day. And it has been celebrated like that until the independence over a long period of time, which was etched in the memory of the citizens of the country, so that it became important to commemorate such an important day.
Did you read about the Bihar Hoosh tragedy?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? Whose fault it was? Was it a state failure or was it the mistake of those illiterate laborers who went there after a hard day's labor to have a drink?
So in this case scenario, I believe that instead of seeing it as anybody's fault, this becomes an important issue of concern at a humanitarian level, that lives are being lost, even with a policy in place for such a long time. So this raises an important aspect purview from the state, that how can they better a policy to ensure such lives are not lost, and also from the perspective of people, that when there is a certain level of policy that they feel that they cannot abide by, how better can they raise their concern with the...
So how can we better this policy of prohibition there?
So in this case scenario, based on the number of deaths, Hoosh tragedy is not the first in the state of Bihar. This has happened over a long period of time.
And it won't be the last. The history teaches us.
So in this case scenario, we can see about how certain global level practices that have come about, where by changing a policy or by removing the policy and advocating health benefits or taking forward such messages, have contributed to reducing the consumption of alcohol, which is the ultimate motive that we are trying to tackle here.
Okay. And what about the illegal den where the liquor was being sold? Can we put some responsibility on the state also? That why in the first place that den was there, liquor den was there? Should the people be compensated?
So one is that with respect to the liquor den, some of these are utilizing the equipment of existing industries in those case scenarios. So
My question is, the liquor den was there, then it is a failure of law and order. That there is prohibition and there is somebody is making illegally liquor over there. And when somebody drinks that liquor and dies, should the state compensate the men or the women whosoever have died because of consumption of that liquor, which is being produced illegally over there?
Based on the roles and responsibilities and based on our constitutional values, sir, I believe that the women who majorly are the people here who are going to suffer the consequences of it must be provided compensation.
The Chief Minister said that no compensation will be provided. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, Janvi.